For many kids, lunchtime at school poses a problem because what do you do if you have no one to sit with? Our parenting panel is here to weigh in. We're joined by Julie Cole, co-founder of Maples Labels and Mom to Six, Chris Body, an inspector with Toronto Police Services and father to two, and Samantha Kemp-Jackson, founder of multiplemayhemmama.com and mother of four. This is a great topic because this happens more often than we talk about, and it's a difficult one. So Chris, I want to start with you because you had a tweet that was retweeted, went viral, and at the basis of that tweet is kindness when it comes to this issue. Tell us about it.
That's right. It's easy to be kind. So I mean, we were all kids once ourselves, and I know a number of years working with the police, working in the schools, you often see during the lunch hour period, it's a difficult time for some kids that just can't quite seem to mend with other people. So it was something to encourage people to say, you know what, if you see somebody sitting alone in the cafeteria, go up and say hi to them. And we're also cautious too that some kids may like sitting by themselves in the cafeteria as well. So
they just want a bit of alone time, right?
Yeah, everybody's so connected right now.
It's true, and I feel like I've got, one of my children prefers being alone. And I find that I just need to really honor her being an introvert and not trying to project that, oh, you need to have a ton of friends and you need to be, you know, socializing all the time. Like, she's very happy with her book and her Pokemon cards and that sort of thing, and her siblings. Right. But I think, you know, sometimes there's the fundamental differences between whether they want to be alone or they don't.
That's the big question.
And if they want to have friends and if they want to be sitting with somebody, I really look to teaching them as well, not just putting it on other kids, but what are you doing to make yourself socially appropriate so that you're having an easier time making friends?
And I think what Julie said is really important because she's talking about being aware of your actual child and being aware of what their needs are. So perhaps if they're an introvert and they want to be alone a little bit more often than not, that's great, but also be there to support them and to let them know that if you want me to help you have friends, then I'll be there for you.
Let's talk more about that and that conversation. When your kids want to have friends but are just having trouble making them, what are the types of conversations that we should be having?
Well, I think it's really about getting to the root of the problem. So I really think that you need to find out from your child, talk to them as much as you can, but also talk to people who are around them, their friends, or maybe their teachers or your neighbors or family members who might be able to give you a little bit more information about what the issue is.
And I find, like, for me, I've used a lot of, I've actually done a lot of teaching with them, you know, and used strategies. I have a child on the autism spectrum, so social stuff didn't always come easily. And I know one thing that I really spent a lot of time with was, you know, a problem he had was he was kind of a sore loser. So if he was at recess and he lost, then he would have a hissy fit and lose it. And that's not how you make friends and influence people, right? So I actually spent a day with him playing games and cards and making him lose over and over and over. I'm that mom. And made him practice saying, good game, do you want to play again? Because that was something he just couldn't do.
Yeah, that's a great point. So what we did often is we would bring kids into our homes. So our kids would bring their friends over and we would sort of evaluate how our kids are treating other kids. And, you know, if it could be like, okay, you're being a little bit bossy today. People don't really like that, so that's going to be hard to have friends if you act that way. So
it's really preparing your children for the real world because, you know, children and schoolyards are a microcosm of the greater society. And one day they're going to go out and they're going to need to have a job and they're going to need to have to, you know, interact with other people. And if they don't know those skills, then they're going to have issues.
There's also that notion that it is quality, not quantity. Okay, for example, I don't have a ton of friends, but the friends that I have are family, right? They mean the world to me. So I don't mind being an outlier per se. And my kids are kind of that way too. They're pretty gregarious, but don't have 15 million friends. It's kind of not like that, but it's the quality that matters. I want to know that there's kindness there. I want to know that there's respect for others there. I want to know that there's a work ethic there. How much does that matter?
I think providing them also with social opportunities. Those are skills that you need to practice. And something that I try to do with my guys is make sure that they've got their school friends, but I also make sure that they're in scouts or they're in hockey or they have something so that if maybe things aren't going awesome with the one group of friends, they still don't feel maybe socially excluded and they have, you know, another group to hang out with and to feel close with.
It's about not putting all, sorry, I was just going to say not putting all of your eggs in one basket and teaching your child that, you know, there's different types of friends and different groups of friends that you can associate with.
And we can role model that with our friends. You know, all my friends are different. I have a diverse group of friends and that's, you know, that's really fun and valuable.
That's right. And we want kids to pick safe friends, and safe
Well,
means
that's-
predictable, right?
yeah.
So there's no point in having a bunch of different friends if they're going to lead your kids down
Exactly.
the wrong path, right? So it's okay to pick and choose your friends, and so I
In fact,
encourage
it's the
that
right
as
thing
well.
to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pick and
Absolutely.
choose them is not a bad thing. It's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What if there, is a scenario where a kid's having a difficult time and maybe being ostracized for it? The kid that stands out. There's always a kid that stands out because there's a little bit different. We read these stories about, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, and people like that who really were considered maybe nerdy, if I can use that language, but yet were just different in their way of thinking. What can parents, what can teachers do, those who are in charge, to encourage those kinds of kids?
The first thing I would do is just ask your kid to see if it's actually a problem, because
Yeah.
just because a kid looks like a loner doesn't necessarily mean that he's lonely.
To
or she's
Julie's
lonely.
point, yeah,
Right.
and her daughter,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, and a great thing is just not overtly, but have the teachers in the schools say, what, watch my kid during the recess, watch him during the lunch hour to see if he is actually alone, because as a parent you might think that your kid is a loner, but he might be doing very, very well in the school setting.
Marching to the beat of a different drum is okay.
It's fine.
And I
right?
do find that they and the nerds. There's something cool about being a nerd now, right? Like we've got Big Bang Theory, and sort of there's this. It's okay, and I find that they because I happen to have a nerd, and they find their tribe, and they find the kids who are like them, and they have shared interests, and
That's
they
a
come
life
over and nerd
lesson.
out, and it's awesome.
It's a life lesson in finding your own tribe.
Find their
Finding
tribe.
your tribe. That's
Yeah,
a
I like
perfect
that.
way to end this. That's
Hashtag.
great.
We're gonna have to hashtag that.
Hashtag find your own tribe.
There you
Next
go.
week for you, Chris. Chris and Samantha and Julie, thank you. Always a pleasure. Great conversation.
Thank you.